Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's part 30 today and it is a big episode for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we've got our final Europa League group stage game against RB Salzburg, and whoever wins it is going through in second place. Whoever doesn't probably drops into the Europa Conference, so a crucial game there. And then we've also got a big game against Rangers, who are the current leaders in the Scottish Premiership. We're in 5th place, we're struggling to find consistency, and we're just having one of those seasons where we get a lot of injuries, we can't really put 2-11s together in back-to-back games, and we're struggling to keep consistent as a result. So we'll look at our fixtures and we'll get through those two, and of course we'll look ahead to what should be an interesting January transfer window with our Director of Football. We've got a youth intake preview to look at as well. I warn you now, it's not particularly great, and there's plenty more going on as well. I keep getting tempted to look for jobs, but I want to stay with Dundee. I know it's just one of those seasons and we've got to stick with it. So if you're looking forward to these two games and a very big episode today, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. And of course there's 2 live streams a week and a link to the podcast channel and all the playlists in the eye above. But let's go and have a look at the schedule first, because it's not been disastrous since you were last here. It's just been frustrating. We've only won one Scottish Premier League match, but then we've only lost one. It's just been a sea of draws, a sea of pretty much average middle of the road performances and inconsistent teams because we've not got enough people fit. So since you were with me, we played Motherwell away and got a 1-1 draw. Kane Ritchie-Hosler got our goal in that one. We did lose in the Cup semi-final to Celtic, I'm afraid, a comfortable 2-0 defeat. A 1-0 win at home to Braga, a crucial result with George Cooper getting the goal. That for our rotated side in the Europa League. That was the 4th match day. A 1-1 draw then against Hibs with Scott Pittman getting the goal before we were pegged back late on. A 0-0 draw at Dunfermline. A 5-1 win at home to Karabag. Most crucially featuring a hat-trick for Carlton Morris and also 2 for George Cooper as well. A 3-0 win against Livingston. Morris from the penalty spot. Kane Ritchie-Hosler and Barry Daly with what I think was his first league goal for the club. He's really improving, the youngster. But then back to defeat last week against Aberdeen. Despite being a better side, we lost 1-0. And it's those little frustrations, those little injuries and those squad depth problems that keep haunting us at the moment. So I'm hoping Jay Hurd will continue to work on that in January. We've got a couple of unhappy eggs in the dressing room, a couple of experienced ones throwing their toys out the pram. But that doesn't matter this week. Red Bull Salzburg are the opponents. And if we have a look at the Europa League group stage, we are joint on 10 points with Braga. A win takes us through. A draw takes us through. Any defeat by 1 goal also does, because we won 1-0 in the home game. So if we lose by 1 goal and score, we go through on away goals head to head. And if we lose 1-0, we go through on overall goal difference for us, which is better. If we lose by 2 goals or more though, we're out. And away to Salzburg, I wouldn't rule that out. They're a very good side. Scottish Premiership, we're doing okay. We're on 22 with Aberdeen, and we've got Aberdeen in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup, so a potentially winnable game. But what I'd like to do is show you the youth intake very quickly, because we might as well get it out the way. If we go and have a look at it, for the first time ever I think, we've had this isn't a great group of players, we've had less positives before, but this just says a mediocre group of players. It could not be many more negatives if it tried. So there's 2 forwards coming through that are fine prospects and 1 Scottish striker from Dundee, so maybe we can hope that's a good player. But otherwise we're relying on the youngsters we've already got, and some of them are done very well. The dynamics at the club are okay. Chalmers is unhappy. The Director of Football gave him a poor contract offer. Jakubiak wants to leave for playing time. Dan Edwards is unhappy. And Clark Robertson has led a dressing room revolt. So here's someone who will probably leave in January because he's now trying to force his way out. And he probably doesn't deserve to play either because he's been overtaken by a youngster. So let's have a look at the plan for the game. We've got to close down the left winger for Salzburg, who's a fabulous player. Croatian full international. If we have a look at their side actually, they've got some really good pros in there. Lots of players worth millions of pounds. Diakite in the middle, one of the stars. If we put them in value order, you can see just what we mean. 3 players there worth 11 million. A Cameroonian striker who's great. A centre-half who's very good, the Algerian. And a Brazilian right-back who looks absolutely fantastic. So they're a very good team. And to get a point out of this game away from home is going to be difficult. In the first game they rotated a bit. In this one they'll be playing their first 11 and that's going to make it very difficult. So I'm going to bring in Chambers at left back to give us the strongest defensive option. I would have played a Doffin right back, but he's out injured again. So we're going to stick with what we've got. It means Daniel Bentley in goal, McGee, Akinola, Jacques and Chambers the back four, Goran, Pittman and Griffiths the midfield three, and Richie Hosler and Cooper on the wings behind Carlton Morris scoring again back up front on his own. So what I am going to do is put one extra defensive option on the bench. That will be Dan Edwards, I think. Maybe even Cammy Kerr. We'll go Kerr because we want to try and get defensive and get through this game. So let's go and see if we can do it. What do you think will happen in the comments below as we go to face Red Bull Salzburg? So Chambers in for Preston. That is our only change from the 11 at the weekend. It wasn't a bad performance at Aberdeen, as we said. We dominated the match. Just didn't quite get on top in front of goal. So it's going to be a difficult test. There's some good players in this Salzburg team, as we've alluded to. And it looks like pretty much all of them are starting. So let's see what we can do as we go and get into it. We're going to put our hands in our pockets and say there's no pressure. We've got a few of them motivated. We've got most of them on board. And now we've just got to defend to our lives' content. It's a lovely stadium. It's pretty full, actually. There's a lot of fans in there. Let's see how we get on. Well, we would have taken this so far, but after 20 minutes, it's the hosts that are coming down the left-hand side of theirs. Gio, the centre-half, picks it up. And they're keeping the ball quite nicely. We've got 11 camped in our own half. And it's out wide. Is it going to be intercepted? It's not. Kelvin, the Brazilian right-back, brings it inside to Tijani. Time on the ball, back into the centre-half. They're not in any rush to get forward. They're playing lovely football, though. As Sucic gets it back. Kalsara, the left-back, to Tijani. Out to Kelvin, the right-back. I mean, their fullbacks are so high up the pitch. They're basically playing as wingers. As Crescenti gets in, it's a lovely run. And it's 1-0 to Salzburg. As it stands, we're all right. But one more goal and we are out of the Europa League. I think that's how it works anyway. I'm not 100% sure with this 8-group situation. But I'm pretty sure we drop into the Europa Conference. We'll wait and see if we're right, though. 15 minutes to the break. Hopefully we won't have to find out. Half-time. Braga are multiple goals up in their game as well. So any hopes of a favour in that one is not going to help us. We're going to tell the lads we're pleased. Because as it stands, they've done enough and it's been a good effort. It's just whether they can keep it at that. Because Salzburg are going to have a threat as the game goes on. As Orsic puts a corner in. Headed by Tijani. Just over the bar. I'm going to drop Pittman to a centre midfielder on support. There's a lot that doesn't make sense about our game plan. It might just be nerves as Sucic is in. And it's well saved by Bentley. But 10 minutes gone in the second half. And as Braga goes 6-0 up in quick-fire fashion, this is going to be a very difficult one for us to hold on. I'm going to bring on Alan Forrest for a very tired Richie Hosler. And I'm going to bring on Jakubiak, I think, for a very tired George Cooper. He's going to be an inside forward on support. He could even be an inverted winger in truth. And Forrest will stay as a winger on the right. Aside from that, it's which one of the midfielders. Pittman's come back from injury quite recently. Griffiths hasn't played that well. Which one's better defensively? Griffiths very good. And Pittman not so good. So there we go. Kevin Stewart on for Pittman. Griffiths switches to a centre midfielder. It's just whether we can go any more defensive, really. I might keep Stewart as a centre midfielder on defend. A centre midfielder on support in there. It's just about hanging on now. 1-0. A 1-0 defeat could be a fabulous result here. The exact opposite of the weekend. We've changed our fullbacks to defensive duties. We've got 5 minutes to hang on. And we've got a goal kick with Daniel Bentley. To McGee. Nothing silly, please. I don't mind conceding a screamer or something like that. But don't give it away back here. As Jakubiak picks it up on the left. Unhappy, but a chance here in the Europa League. Gives it back to Jacques. Almost dispossessed. Here he comes on a yellow to Kevin Stewart. To Rodriguez Goran. Out to Jakubiak. Great play there in the middle. Hinterberger just meets Morris to it. And now Ganago's got a chance to counter. It's a 3-on-3. He's skinning a lot of them. Puts it into Orsic, the winger. Gets to the byline. Back to Ganago. And 2-0 puts us out. Just like that, it changes. And this is the problem when you have defenders that switch off. We've done well to hold them off for a while, but it's not going to work now. So we have to throw everything at it. And that means a box-to-box midfielder. Back to a centre midfielder on attack. And what else do we have left in the locker? My answer is probably not enough. So we're going to go attacking. I don't know if there's much else we can do, really. In possession, we're going to run at the defence more. We're going to be more expressive. We're going to also push the defensive and attacking lines up. Let's just do that. Play higher up the pitch. There's 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Can we nick a goal from somewhere? One goal, and on the head-to-head away goals, we go back up the second. At the moment, the frustrating thing is we don't even know what third means. I think it's Europa Conference, but we won't really know. We're about to find out though, because 3 minutes of stoppage time are up. It is Salzburg 2, Dundee 0. And unfortunately, despite a pretty good effort in the end, the lads are inspired, they're motivated, but I think they're also out of the Europa League. Let's go and get confirmation. So, it's confirmed immediately there. Dundee qualify for the Europa Conference first knockout round, so still European football to come after Christmas. But a bit of a blow, considering the position we were in, and we're very unlucky in truth to go out on 10 points. We said this was a good group because it was very evenly matched. And in the end it was too even. And we just about got beat to it. Qarabağ were the whipping boys. And maybe, do you know what? A draw away there was the one that cost us. It really was, wasn't it? At home we were faultless. We won all of them. If we'd won away at Qarabağ, we would have been through. And on reflection, we probably should have. But we've got 2 months now where we can just focus on the domestic action. I know there's a lot of games in quick succession. I know that we've not got the fittest squad. We've not got the biggest squad. We've not got the happiest squad at the moment. We're not really playing that consistently either. But we've got Rangers up next. We'll get through that one. And then we can start to focus on the next couple of months. We're back to face Rangers, and Hibernian have got Aberdeen, who are directly below us. And it's sort of a three-way competition for 4th and 5th at the minute. Dundee United seem to be running away with it. They're absolutely flying. And Hibernian have had Europa Conference football as well. They've snuck through on 7 points, which is all the more annoying to me. And we've got a couple of players not fit for this one. So Richie Hosluck cannot play against his parent club. That means Alan Forrest will come in. Griffiths is shattered, so Kevin Stewart will start. And I just want to go through and look at the injury risk of the rest. So we'll probably make a few more changes, particularly with the Dundee derby in mind for Wednesday. And we'll be back in a moment with a full 11. There we go then. So we've made the decision to keep Luke Chambers in at left back, the more defensive option of the two. Jacques will be partnered by young Archibald, who deserves a game for the way he's developing. McGee will stay in at right back for now. Edwards in a holding role for Goran, who needed a break. And of course Stewart in centre midfield for Griffiths. Then Forrest on the right wing, and we've kept Cooper and Morris. But I'm realising Cooper won't last the game. So Chalmers is up promoted to the bench, and Goran's there as well. Fingers crossed we'll be able to at least keep the score down in this one. But so far, Rangers have largely beaten us very heavily. So let's hope it's not the case today. Confirmation of the 4 changes as Dundee host Rangers. And these are the sort of games where we can't really compete because of Europe. Not only are we playing more defensively, we can't play our best 11. Although Rangers have probably rested a few as well, in fairness. And we're getting blamed. Look at the fans. They're turning against us a bit because we're playing unfavoured players. But we've got to do that. We can't just keep putting out the same team every 3 days. It's really going to end up costing us otherwise. The Dundee derby's more important. We have to get a result there. And against a 4-4-2 of Rangers, I mean, we've got an injury already. I'm not taking Edwards off with a bruised thigh, but he's not the best start in the first minute or two. So let's keep going. It's not been a bad 15 so far, and we've had the only shot on target. No highlights, and I'll take this at the end if you offer it me now. But it's Rangers with a throw at right back, and I'm sure they'll grow into this game. As Drame picks it up, and he comes over halfway, he's got loads of time and space to run into. It's pretty poor defending. He switches to Verlinden on the left, beats the fullback. He's pulls back again though, goes to Thomas the left back. Luke Thomas, the former Leicester man, gets to the byline, delivers in. And in fact, that's the Luke Thomas who we had at Dorking in FM20. He was a superstar for us. And Forrest gets it on the right, into Carlton Morris. He's 1-on-1. Oh, it's disallowed. I thought we were about to have another Scottish Cup final moment. As it is, it's taken away by the offside flag. But a really big moment as Verlinden puts a corner in. Rangers head just over the bar. But not a bad half an hour so far. Still only 1 shot on target for the Gers. And we've had 2 ourselves. We've not been able to take them though. But we've got a throw on the left now with Chambers, who plays to Jacques, the centre half. Back out to Chambers again. I've got to say with Jacques, he has now become a decent signing. Mainly due to injuries elsewhere. But he's become a regular starter after our initial fears. So I will give the director of football that. I just need a couple of big ones in January though. Right back starting to look an issue as Kirk's coming forward for Rangers. He puts in the centre forward Bell. He's in 1-on-1. And it's a good finish. Lofts it over the keeper Bentley. Unfortunately we're behind. And that's probably the end of the game, I'm afraid. Unless Morris can nick one on the break and we can avoid conceding again. I think that's probably game over. And it's a Rangers corner again. Verlinden in, off the crossbar and Pittman clears. And it is now clinging on for dear life. It is not looking pleasant now. We knew as soon as the first goal went in, the confidence would probably go. And it's proven the case. At half-time, it's Dundee 0, Rangers 1. We're going to tell the lads they've been unlucky. We're going to ask them to sort of push and try and get a bit more out of it. I haven't seen any update from the Aberdeen game yet, but then it says they're still on 22. Unless that's a later kickoff perhaps. We'll wait and see. But it's not been the most one-sided game. I can't say that we've looked particularly like scoring, bar probably 1 or 2 breaks. So I think we probably have to accept the result here. We're 24 to go. We'll make some changes. We're going to take off George Cooper. He's not played very well and he's a little bit tired. So Chalmers on for him. Dan Edwards, he's going to be replaced by Goran. And Pittman starting to struggle as well. So Sean Byrne on for him. And at this point, it's mostly preserving our first 11. It's going to be a narrow 1-0 defeat, I'm afraid. The positives, a solid performance by Archibald, the young centre-half. Chalmers came on and did all right, and we did look a little bit of a threat. But unfortunately, it's another defeat, and that's all that really matters. We're having a lot of difficult games in a row. And as we go into the derby on back-to-back defeats, or 3 defeats in a row in fact, I'm a little bit concerned about confidence. It's going to be a big month off camera, particularly in terms of the transfer window, but also in terms of results on the pitch. We have to stay in that top 6. The gap is just 3 points now. So we'll skip ahead, see the Hibernian v Aberdeen result, and then we'll look at when we're next going to be back. Well, Hibernian beat Aberdeen in a late Sunday kickoff, so you can look at that one of 2 ways. Either the gap to 4th has just come 5 points, and that's difficult for us, or the chance to stay in 5th where we finished last year is better, because Aberdeen are now on the same points still. If we have a look at the schedule though, let's see when we're next going to be back. I think we're going to come back for transfer deadline day. We'll play Hibernian the day before it perhaps, because that's on the Tuesday night and that could be a big game. We've got some massive ones coming up. Aberdeen in the Cup mid-month after the mid-season break. We've got Celtic. That's an away game in the Scottish Premiership. And of course this time last year we were warming up after a Winter World Cup. We're still on course to achieve everything. We've only got to get top 6 this year. The fact we've done so well in Europe is a bonus. The fact that we've still got the Europa Conference after Christmas could go either way. But who knows? The way it's going, it might be a run at a trophy. So if you did enjoy this episode, despite the 2 defeats and the disappointment in Europe, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. Let me know what you think the Director of Football's going to do. We had our recruitment meeting. We said we want a striker and a right back. So let's see what he goes and gets us. Probably neither, I'm guessing. I'm hoping he can work some of those unhappy players out the club. They've said they wanted to leave. One of them's already transfer listed by request. So let's see if they get moved on. And we will be back for a hectic transfer deadline day. Let me know in the comments where you think we'll be by then. Do you think a club's going to come calling? We're still doing really well. We're still learning the ropes in terms of badges. And overall, it's still been a decent season despite the last 3 games. If you want to stay up to date with this series, all the other playlists, and of course the live streams, please do turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts every time we go live or every time a new video comes out. And you can see all the playlists in the eye above, as well as the link to the podcast channel. Plenty of football content and fun over there. But thank you very much for watching. Your continued support with the series as always. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time for another massive game and a massive moment in this series, as we've got transfer deadline day by our Director of Football and a big game against the side directly above us. Let's hope we're still in contention when we come back. I'll see you there.